Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show. We about to get it. What's good, RJ? Going to be joined by a couple folks here. Got to get the link out to Modi. Going to also have some Prop Bomb on here with us. So pretty excited for that. I'm just excited that we got more Hoop, man. I'm sure everybody is along the same lines as me. Apologies for getting everything going a little bit late. We got a few folks already in here, so glad to have y'all. Let me go ahead and get into a couple of things as I get everybody in here, including Modi, and eventually we'll get Prop Bomb in here as well. Going to be looking at some of these props, man, and I gotta say I am worried about the blowout here. I'm worried that the Celtics just come and lay the hammer is really what I'm worried about more than anything. So we'll take a look at how that might affect things here in a sec. I'm going to let Modi come in here in 1 sec. I'm going to get to you guys with some of the bets that I've got here. In fact, we'll just get it going, man. We're already a little bit late. We got Modi in the house. What's up, brother? How you doing?
What's up? I'm good, man. How are you?
Good, dude. Good. I got the correct stuff in here. Look at that. And we got Modi's all good to go. Everything comes to those who wait, but how you doing, brother? Feeling pretty good?
Yeah, I'm good. I had a busy weekend. One of my friends got married, was in Philly for his wedding.
Hell yeah.
He's Indian. I don't know if you've ever been to an Indian wedding, but they're like 7
One time.
events. And it's the most fun wedding I've ever been to in my life, but it is exhausting.
Well said. How long was it? Was it like it was a couple of days basically?
Yeah. So I was a groomsman. So I was I got in Thursday night. We had an event 10 a.m. Friday morning, and we had an event Friday night, and then we had an event at like 8:30 on Saturday, and then again on Saturday night, and then I drove home yesterday. So it was a great time. It was a great time. I would not change anything about my experience at the wedding, but it's just a lot. It's exhausting, is what I'll say.
No doubt. You had a chance to look at stuff. You put out a video, right, for today's game already?
Yeah, I did. I looked at stuff last night when I got home, and then I put it out this morning. So I haven't I have the plays that I like. I have some leans and stuff like that, but I wasn't able to watch 1 second of the game Friday. I just caught up on highlights.
Right.
So I feel like I was a little bit behind the 8 ball there, and don't have my full thoughts and analysis, but luckily it was like a 38-point game, so I didn't really miss much.
You didn't miss anything, brother. You are well caught up, unless you think the Mavs are going to outscore the Celtics by like 40 in the paint once again, which was kind of what happened there. I mean, the 3-point shooting was still like somewhat even. I mean, the Mavs hit their threes, but the Celtics still shot like 34%, which has been good enough for them to win a bunch as well, to be honest with you. So I'm going to let everybody keep rolling in here and start putting some stuff up on the upcoming here. I've got my picks on the bottom line. Let me run through real quick what I'm looking at, and you let me know what you think. I'm going to have to box you out for a minute. Apologies. Give me 1 second. I'll get you back on. But here were the takeaways that I had, dude, and you can let me know what you think. But everybody is still like really rearing to go on Derrick Lively. That's the first point, is these centers. And it's whomever plays best. So do with that what you will. I kind of lean towards Gafford in this one, and would be down to take a look at that real quick with you as well, because I think away from home and all that stuff, we're going to see a little bit more Gafford, a little bit less Lively. I think that everything's just sort of corrected too much towards Gafford doing nothing and Lively doing everything. I don't think that's going to be the case. Kristaps still questionable. Don't expect much from him, man. If he gets in there, it's a cat and mouse gamesmanship type of thing. So not worried about that. Derrick Jones Jr. is interesting to me. I had my buddy Kareem, who I've had on here a couple of times, say that he's likes rebounds for Derrick Jones Jr. I don't think Jaden Hardy's the one. I think he's the one who gets bumped, Jaden Hardy, for Dante Exum. So keep that in mind. I think both those dudes are good in this one. And then, like I was saying a second ago, Boston still had 14 threes in this last game. But I got a lot of unders here, man. And one of them is Luka to go under. And I just put that with the Celtics money line because I don't see both those things happening. Luka's going to have to go clean off for them to win in this one, is kind of how I'm seeing it. So I took an under for him. He's done this very consistently, going under in 13 to 21 playoff games, gone under in 3 of 4 of the PRA in this series. And it's still at 50.5 despite his assists being down to 7.5. So under on that, under on points and assists for Kyrie as well. Got to go for it. I just think back in Boston, this is just bad news once again for Kyrie. I'm buying into the inability for him to score and really put up too much in TD Garden. Tatum as well, to be honest, like unless he's going to shoot lights out. And even when he did in this series, he went under, gone under in 10 of 12 at home, under in all 4 of this series. And I don't think the rebounds will be there for him once again, as he is now being hunted by Luka, which is wild to consider. But Luka's had a good time scoring against him. So that's a big part of that one. I like Papa Al to come out here. I think you can get 1.5 points in the first quarter for Al Horford if you want that. I took it at 2.5 for plus 124. Really liking that number for him. I think he's ready to get his championship. That's a little bit of conjecture and opinion, but I still think he's going to come out hot and without KP get the minutes. I am backing Dante Exum. I think if you're Jason Kidd, look, I can't project his rotations that well because he's all over the place, as we've talked about multiple times. But you've got to get Exum more minutes. I mean, he's played so well, shooting well aside. He's still played really well on the rebounds and the dimes. So I took him on the over 3.5 PR, assuming he gets about 10 to 12 minutes in this one. And then last thing here is an under in the second quarter. I've been hinting at this consistently that the second quarter has gone under in all 4 of these games so far, in part because it drops to an 87 pace, in part because the first quarter goes so fast with so many points. So I think that's going to be the opposite of what we see here. Reason that I like it for this second quarter to go under. And I do lean under for the game as well. So getting Modi back in here. Any thoughts on Luka under, Tatum under, Kyrie under? I kind of want to start there and see if you think I'm as crazy as some of the commenters in the video that I put out as well.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, especially the Kyrie and the Tatum ones. Luka is scary because he can just control a game. Like he's only went over that. And I think you said in game 2, right? Because it's the only game that he's even done anything from an assist perspective. I think if I were to play Luka, it would just be under rebounds plus assists, and I would just leave the points alone. Because I could see it being one of those things where he just comes out firing, and it's like from the assist. That's what the Celtics game plan has been. It's like you can cook us all you want from a scoring perspective, and we're not going to trust that your teammates can do enough to beat us. And he had 11 assists in game 2. Other than that, he hasn't gotten more than 6. Yeah. From the rebounds perspective, it's really just like betting on positive aggression from the Celtics. I saw that they shot 34% from 3 in game 4. I would be curious. I don't know if you looked at this. Like how much of that their success came when the game was already over. Because I know Pritchard hit some shots when the game was over. I know Sam Hauser, I think went off when the game was over. Because the reason why I'm asking. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. What are you asking for?
Yeah. The only reason why I was asking is because I looked up like catch and shoot numbers, and they were like 6 of 24 from catch and shoot specifically. And I'm guessing that all came like when the team was actually playing, when they were trying to, run their around the world offense type thing. So yeah, that's the only thing I would note about the Celtics 3-point shooting. Like, yeah, maybe it was, it was 34%. I'm just curious how much of that came when the game was already at hand, how much of their made 3-pointers.
Yeah. In terms of like them actually making shots, you're saying how was that going once, like basically the difference that I saw was they did miss a good amount. I'm going to the box score here from that game. If we pull up the first half real quick, I'll just take a quick look at it with you. They were in the first half here.
Yeah, 5 of 19.
Yeah, so that's where that happened, right?
So that makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense that like their percentages went up after the game was already over and everything was kind of more relaxed. Definitely. So if you just expect positive aggression from a shooting perspective, that means less rebounds for Luka, obviously.
Right. Exactly.
So I would lean towards the under RA personally and just leave out the points because like it probably does make like he probably will go under, but I don't want any part of a Luka points under in a closeout game unless it turns into a blowout. Then all hands are off. I took his over first quarter points. Yeah. The books finally caught on to that. Like it was plus 135 in game 4. He scored 13. He scored 13 each of the last 3 games. It's a little bit square because I feel like everybody's probably on it now. But
unless the Celtics, did you get 8.5 or 9.5?
I got 9.5. It was, okay. I don't know if it opened I only looked last night. So
yeah, I don't think it ever was at 8.5, to be honest.
Yeah. And I got it at minus 115. I guess I can look and see where it's currently at.
Yeah. I think I'm pulling it up now, and I'm glad we can actually look at the, I'm going to pull up the first quarter numbers. We can also see here on the right side where it's been at. So if I go to first quarter points, I guess it's not giving me normally it gives me like the timing.
Some lower markets, it might not give you the line movement.
Right. Yeah. It's a smaller market, so they probably aren't tracking that as closely. But yeah, it's 9.5 minus 108. What was the best number you got at?
Oh, that's even better. I got it at minus 115, so that's even better.
Okay. So yeah, I guess it's moving away from that, but that's not a big giant movement like you can see. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. And your thought is like it's still just him coming out strong, right? And
yeah, he gets tired in the second half. He'll play probably between 10 and 11 minutes. And the Celtics, they just refuse to blitz. Like they'll let him cook whoever's on him one-on-one. And it's only come back to bite him in one game. Yeah. So I think they're going to continue to do that.
Right.
Like the Mavericks shot 60% on catch and shoot 3-pointers in game 4. Like that's probably not going to be something that continues. And look at that, like 8 attempts. He did that without making a 3-pointer as well. Yeah. And he's had 13 each of the last 3 games. I get that it's like a high number at 10, but it's what he's done all series. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You don't gotta like, here's the thing too, what we're going to be doing. I think there is enough data in the playoffs to kind of, help us use that as like a legit enough sample size to go, okay, this is what he's done in the playoffs in general. He's averaging 10.7 over the course of all the games in the playoffs here. But if you look at about 10, but if you look at really like as of late, right, still consider him a little bit injured. OKC was trying to limit him from scoring, as we know. And so that definitely helped. I think the minutes, he's had anywhere from 8.5 to like 12, but mostly 8.5 to now in this series about 9 to 10. I think it's just you look at this series more than anything and go, okay, this is what he's doing fully healthy with the awareness that he needs to take over and can't let his team get down early in the first quarter like they did in game 1 when he had 7 in the first quarter. I believe he only played 8.8 minutes, was kind of still looking like he was hurt, whatever, but there's no room for that anymore. So it's just all hands on deck. And I can definitely see him kind of going crazy in the first quarter. That's also part of my explanation for him going under in the game in terms of the PRA was I don't think he dimes up and gets the points. He did that in one game. And I also just think, not 9 points per game, Modai, in the second half of the last like 10 games.
Yeah,
9 points and 3 assists. Like, that's crazy, dude. That's absolutely insane. So, I'm with you on that. Did you want to roll through another one real quick before I keep going?
Yeah. So, I also took Jaylen Brown first quarter points. So this one is more just like the books are showing their hand because it's been really interesting what's happened to his first quarter point prop so I took it in game 3. He went under. He hasn't scored 5 or more points in the first quarter of any of the 4 games this series.
True.
But his first quarter point prop keeps rising up. Like it was 4.5 heading into game 2. It was 5.5 heading into games games 3 and 4. He has yet to score more than 4 points in the first quarter. And now it's 6.5 and it's not even 6.5 for plus money. So to me, that's like the books are begging people to take the under. And that always makes me want to do the opposite. Like people are going to see that he hasn't hit it in 6 straight games, that he hasn't hit at all in this finals, and that it's priced at 6.5. Yeah. Minus 113. It's like the books have, to me, I generally think that the books are an efficient market and know what they're doing. I think this one, they're baiting people into taking the under. Like sometimes I think that you can take advantage of like certain situations. But I think that in this case, the books are they're begging people to take the under. And generally he's been a fast starter. Like if you take out this series, you look at the playoffs without Kristaps Porzingis. We're looking through my notes. Sorry, I lost my, he had gone, 5 of 8 playoff games heading into this series. He had scored 7 or more points. Yeah. So now it's 7 of there's 5 of 12 because he's missed all 4 games this series. He did it in 60% of the games in the regular season that Porzingis missed. He averaged 8.1 points per game in the first quarter, 19 games that Porzingis missed in the regular season. And it's not like he's struggled in the series. He's been awesome. He's minus 230 to win finals MVP. He just generally has done it more in the second, third, and fourth quarter, which normally is not what he does. Normally he starts fast. And I think, the reason why this, just from looking at it, like the Mavericks were able to have so much success in game 4 was because they limited drives, and Luka actually decided to play some defense. And that was like the biggest thing. They were able to limit his drives. So that's why you saw his assists were down. He only had 2 assists. So I think that you can expect a little bit of regression on the Mavericks defensive side. Like there's no way they're going to be able to keep up that same intensity just over the course of another full game. Granted, it was like the first 3 quarters of the last game, but still 2.5 if you want to call it. Yeah. Like the game's over in the third quarter, but it's just, it's Brown starting fast, knowing that they don't want this to go back to Dallas, even though despite what Tatum said. And it's like betting on everything that has happened heading into this series. Like, he's 0-4 this series, and yet the prop keeps rising. So that was my second play was this. And I also, I thought about taking like 10 plus, like just laddering it and just lowering the unit size, but 10 plus is priced at like plus 250. So it's way, like, to me, it's not worth taking that. I would just take the main line. But yeah, that's where I went with my second play was the Brown. That's some galaxy brain stuff that I actually appreciate. Right. Which is like going just even further into like, this is so fishy that I'm going the other way because of how fishy it is. And I mean, you do that a lot, man. I appreciate that about you because it takes a little bit of stones, but you're so committed to the, like, I'm going
away from what happened recently because that's what they want us to do. And when it's this ripe, like, yeah, if this was at like 4.5, I'd be like, what is going on here? I mean, maybe that would be far enough for me to take it, but it would still also be fishy in the other way of like, so they do think that should have been going over. What's telling them that? And I mean, he missed a bunch of. There was also he missed a bunch in the first quarter last game, I believe. And I know you didn't necessarily see that, but the 2 for 6, 0 for 2, kind of looked like he was forcing it. But that right there is telling enough, right? That like he's still capable.
In the 12 minutes, they're playing him the whole first quarter now, which is which is like the last 3 games he's played the entire first quarter, which he had not previously done.
Right.
Heading into that, so
right.
Yeah, I mean,
Kristaps here, but yeah,
I have the highest win percentage on plays that everybody hates.
Yeah,
like the Kyrie heading into game 3, people are like, that's too risky. Like he's shook. He's had 35 points in the Timberwolves series. I had Karl-Anthony Towns 3-pointers after he had been terrible. Everybody hated it. Kyle hated it. He had 4 in that game. Yeah, that's what I do.
I love it. And I love when Kyle comes after you. It's the best. So the other thing before we get off of JB, this assist props now at 4.5, and that was one of the questions that we got in the chat already, was Jaylen Brown dimes, and I really thought he was going to be good for it last game. If we pull up the potentials from last game real quick, he was at let me just go to the last 20 real quick. So he had 2 dimes, but he had the potential assists were at just 4, I guess. I thought it was at 6 for some reason, but it looks like it's just at 4. I still like the dimes for him, but now it's 4.5, and I can't get next to it, to be honest with you. Like I would have taken it at 3.5 at this point because the potentials have been up a little bit for him. I mean, in this series specifically, he went 8 to 12 to 14, and I thought there was legitimacy there. And we talked about this a little bit last time too, right? Where it was like, his passing off of the drives has increased so much for Jaylen Brown that like he's seeing the floor really well. This is conjecture, so it's not enough for me to take it, but I do think he wants to get that MVP. And I think that's what you saw from him last game, was forcing it a little bit, being like, I got this, when they didn't necessarily need him to get this, right? The Celtics are best when the ball's moving around the perimeter a lot. And getting open shots for guys like Derrick White. So I didn't take anything for JB. I felt like I robbed the books when they had his points prop at 21.5 2 games ago. And I was like, wonderful. Like, are you guys watching what this dude's doing? And snagged it. And then he got the 30 in that game. And now it's been a little bit less. And I'm a little bit less inclined to take the points as a result. The assists are now too high. Like I said, at 3.5, I would still project about 8 potentials for him. So I'd be fine for him to get 4 dimes on 8 potentials. Once you get into the 5 dimes, I'm a little bit more loath, but I do think the Celtics hit a bunch of shots in this game, to be honest. And I do think that they come back with a vengeance. Do you have anything for the full game in terms of like how you lean towards it?
Couple of things. Number one, I agree with you on Jaylen Brown assists. One of my official plays was his under in game 4, because if you look at his numbers, it's like outlier, 2 games in a row. And I was like, there's like, I'm going to bet against that 10 times out of 10. Now, obviously the blowout helped, but yeah, you see 7 and 8, 2 games in a row. I bet his under in game 4. Everybody hated it, and he had 2 assists. I would lean towards his over. If I was going to play it, I'd probably like do small unit sizing equaling 1 full unit and ladder it up to probably 8.
Interesting.
So like a half unit on over 4.5, and then like a quarter unit on, I guess that I'd probably do like a quarter unit on 6 and 7, or 6 and 8, something like that. As opposed to playing like a full unit on just the over 4.5. In terms of the spread, I didn't have an official play on this. I would take the Celtics minus 6.5, and I would put 2 units on that if I played mainline plays. Like only one time this entire season did I have a play over 1 unit, and it was the Nuggets spread after losing game 1 to the Timberwolves, because I was like, this like, and then they just got their dicks kicked in. So I learned my lesson: no more 1.5 unit plays. But
just because,
But I totally agree with you. I think the Celtics are good. I honestly think the Celtics are going to kick the shit out of them.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm gonna before we move too far away from it, let me bring on our boy PBs here as well. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Hey, How's it going? Yeah, I'm in a completely different setting today. We're adapting here. I'm not behind a brick wall. This
No,
is
yeah, we could tell. Yeah, no, it's all good. I'm in the same boat, man. So don't even worry about it. I was telling everybody my internet happened to go out. It was a like planned outage, but it just dicked me entirely. So I feel that we started a little bit late. I got you guys in the right spot finally. Before I just to make you jump right into it, we're talking about how the Celtics probably win this game. Are you on board, or what are you thinking full game wise, just as a starting point?
I'm kind of on both sides. I think the Mavericks can keep it competitive. Kid kind of addressed like 3 kind of weaknesses last game, and I think that could stick into game 5. One of them was like pacing, right? Like the Mavericks are, I believe, 7-2 in the playoffs when they have like I saw some stat. It was when they have above a 93 or 94 pacing, and then like the Celtics are like they have a losing record when they're in fast pace. So like addressing the pacing issue has definitely been something that I think has been good. And I don't know. I think this is going to be a close one. I would honestly leave the Mavs spread just to keep
Interesting. Okay. I mean, dude, from your lips to God's ears, yeah. For the love of all of hoop, I really hope you're right. I think the thing that would obviously do that in is if the Celtics just are raining shots at this point, which I'm not, I'm not projecting that necessarily. I'm more projecting that like they just play a lot better, especially on defense. So I guess we'll see if the others kind of kick in for the.
That's the thing, though. That goes into the pacing point. Like it's tough to have set defenses when the Mavericks are pushing the pace and they're in front of the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where that's coming from. Maybe they just weren't. Maybe the Celtics couldn't easily adjust that, and they just weren't prepared.
Yeah,
I think
that's
there's
fair.
a little bit of correlation between missed shots and faster pace, because then you can get the ball in a rebound and run. Whereas if you're constantly inbounding it, like only really the Pacers run a fast break while also getting scored on the other end. So I think there is a little bit of correlation. Like if they shoot better, then the pacing's naturally going to slow down.
Right. Yeah. I do still like unders in part because like what have we seen that would tell you that this game's not going under when everything in the second half just slows down. The offensive rating for the Celtics in the second half has been 101.5. The Mavs has been about 107.5. Like neither team looking really good on offense in that second half, especially obviously the way the Celtics have been slowing down here and there. But that's also because they've done so much work in the first half. But I'm not necessarily going to worry about that. I know that we got a lot of props to go through. Can I ask you for your first one here, PB?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So I have 3 official props right now. So they're all like way gone. I'll go with my first one then. I gave out Sam Hauser. This was a collab with 2 of my buddies, Joe Delera and Stephen Keach. This one is just like a positioning one. Like, how the rebounding props are is I just saw a lot of times Luka was just getting to his spots and attacking Sam Hauser whenever he was on the court. And whenever that's the case, Sam Hauser is using more of his energy on defending Luka than grabbing rebounds. And then like you'll see in the box score, he finished with 4 rebounds. But although that's a little bit concerning, he got 3 of those 4 rebounds in garbage time when Luka wasn't on the court. So it kind of makes sense. If Luka was playing, I think he probably would have finished with 2 rebounds instead of 4.
Got it. Yeah, so it's 2.5, right, for Hauser's rebound?
2.5. Yeah, it was like minus 130 when I got it. It's like minus 170 now. So I don't think there's any odds there.
Damn, yeah. I think that's a pretty good look there for Hauser. What do you have anything for his points or not necessarily?
I kind of lean the over 1.5 threes. I think like they've been the Mavericks, at least, like they've been keeping Derek Lively at the rim, and that's really been hurting their driving. And I think like they're going to have to score some of their points from threes now because like of their zone defense. I think that's where Hauser could benefit. I like the 1.5 threes. It's been a consistent hit rate. He's had looks. If you watch back, like Tatum just didn't make that extra pass or he would have been wide open. Maybe the Celtics kind of lean into that. Plus he's playing at home. So maybe there's a better conversion rate of hitting the shots.
At home, you think?
Yeah. What's the? Yeah. Oh, I'm not. Yeah, the threes. I'm looking at the over.
Yeah. One still plus 105. It's dropped a little bit. Yeah. So some people have hit it because I believe it opened at like plus 1 15-ish or so. It was a little bit better than plus 105 for the threes, but still at plus money. I do think that's a pretty good look for people trying to play some Hauser stuff here. Let me get into what we've got here too. Let's real quick. Let me let you guys get through what you have too. Moda, you have another player too?
Yeah, I got one more. Talking about 3-pointers. I took Derrick White over 3.5 made 3-pointers. I got it at plus 120 at FanDuel. Looks like right now it is at plus one. Yeah, it's still plus 120. It looks like this at DraftKings. It's betting on positive regression from his shooting as well. Like he's consistently getting 8 to 10 shots up a game. Even last game, he only played 30 minutes and he got up 8. He only made 2 of them. So we do get a nice kind of fade of recent results there. The 2 games prior to that, he had made 4. He was 4 of 10 and 4 of 9 from deep in games 2 and 3. Mm-hmm. And I kind of think that, kind of to go along with what I was talking about Jaylen Brown and how I don't think that the Mavericks defense is quite going to be able to contain the drives from Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum as well as they did in game 4. That just opens up everything from a catch and shoot opportunity for the Celtics. Like on the games 1 through 3, they averaged 29 catch and shoot 3-pointers per game. That would have led the NBA in the regular season. In game 4, they only had 24 and they made 6 of them. So they shot 25% on those 24 catch and shoot 3-pointers. So if it does kind of go what I think in that they can't quite contain the drives as well, that's just going to leave, again, more catch and shoot. Derrick White leads the Celtics in catch and shoot 3-point attempts in the playoffs. And then he was second in the regular season, but Sam Hauser was ahead of him. But like, that's not going to be like Sam Hauser's not going to get the same minutes this game that he got in the regular season. So it's betting on volume and it's betting on positive regression, shooting back to the mean for Derrick White. And it's kind of correlated to Jaylen Brown assists, which I gave out as a lean. So that was my third official play. And that's my third and final one.
I like it. Yeah, I definitely think, and this is kind of like where I'm at with the up next stuff too. I'm glad you brought up D White, sort of a seamless little segue there, because if you look at the up next stuff, I put Holiday and White as the first couple guys to maybe look a little bit more closely into. And I've been wanting to fade Jrue Holiday's points tonight and go a little bit more with Derrick White. I do think that like the way that the catch and shoot stuff plays out, as you've been saying, we haven't seen Jrue be the one to sort of finish these possessions where the ball's moving around the perimeter for the Celtics or a little bit in and out inside and then back out on the drives, right, on the kickouts that they do so well. I think that's going to be the sort of the focal point of their offense in this game, is continue to keep that ball moving rather than just have one of the Jays go into ISO and do their thing. When that's the case, who's at the end of that rotation on the ball moving around the perimeter more than anybody? D White. Like he's doubling the amount of threes that Jrue is shooting in this series. He's at about 8, almost 9 threes per game in this series, as you can see between the 4 here. It's at about 8.59, and Drew's at like 4 3-point attempts per game in this series. So I actually came into this series thinking that Jrue was going to be shooting a lot more threes, being in the corner against this Mavs squad and get a little bit of Luka on him. Hasn't really been the case, right? It has not been that way. So I think there's some correlation between D White and Jrue Holiday when it's a negative correlation, right? Like Jrue Holiday does better, Derrick White maybe does a little bit worse, and vice versa. So I agree that D White is a better play here for Jrue. Any thoughts on that stuff, PB, between those two guards here for the Celtics?
I think Jrue Holiday, I think like 50% of his points come from when the Dallas Mavericks just like don't care to guard him in the paint. Well, they'll just like they're either trailing or in like double-digit scripts, and they just kind of like give it up to him. It was like, all right, sure. But if the game is more closer and competitive, and they're going to be like really just like defending him in where he tries to cut, that's going to take away a lot of his upside. Whereas Derrick White, you can depend on him to create a shot, and also like when Tatum, or like as Modai was saying, like when Tatum or Jaylen Brown try to attack the paint, the shots will just open up. Yeah.
It's fully how I feel about it too. I mean, Jrue for his points has had to be Shaq, right? We watched him go 9 for 9. He had all those points in game 2. Sure. Yeah. How long do you want it? Now, I had a buddy bring up a good point, which was that Jrue gave up a good amount of shots at the rim in this last game. But honestly, I'm not taking much away from game 4 and trying to use it here in game 5. Like, I just think that thing was pretty much over in the first quarter. The Celtics couldn't withstand it, and then they tried to shoot their ways out, and they couldn't shoot. They didn't find the shooting until the end of the second half when it was already too late. So I agree with all that. I have Jrue Holiday in here as a lean right now on the under 13.5 points. I'm wondering too about the RA, because that was a very popular bet for Drew last game, and obviously did not come through. Was specifically the rebounds.
His over, right?
Yeah.
His over. Yeah.
That's what most people have been loving, because obviously you look at these numbers, there's a lot of green throughout the playoffs. This is the last 10.
So here's the thing with the rebounds. The rebounds, I think it's kind of been regressing the last 2 games because Derrick Lively is playing a lot more than he did in the first 2 games, right?
Okay.
He's boxing out. He's not letting I think a lot of the upside came from when Drew Holiday was playing that dunker spot and he was defending Derrick Lively or Gafford or whatever, and he would get those offensive rebounds. But now Lively is like a menace on the glass, and he's not letting anyone that's shorter than him get the rebound. So I think that's definitely impacting what was once a targeting point in games 1 and 2, now no longer a threat.
Interesting. Yeah, it did drop a bit in game 3, but that does bring up the point, though, before moving too far past it. Like, I personally believe Derrick Lively's props have gone too far one way and Gafford's too far the other way. I'm kind of inclined, and I haven't given out Gafford yet, and someone scolded me in the comments of the video I put out for even mentioning Gafford in a positive light. They were like, what the hell are you smoking talking about Gafford? Da, da, da. I was like, first of all, it's a lean. Second of all,
what's the play?
I kind of think over on Gafford rebounds combined with under on Lively rebounds is a look. I really, really do. And last week, we did a little bit of degeneracy with Lively. I did a parlay that was Lively over and Gafford under. And I also took a parlay of Gafford over, Lively under, to kind of cover my bets, because I don't think those two dudes play the same amount, no matter what. One's going to play closer to 15, one's going to play closer to 25. And it's kind of just been whomever is playing well at the beginning of the game gets the minutes moving forward. But if you also look at the home and away stuff, it does seem relevant because it's a rook playing on the road. I think there's some relevancy to it. I'll pull up
Lively, though. I would say with Lively, I think his role is secured going into game 5, especially if Porzingis is out. Kyrie Irving has said it himself. Like, he is, although he's 20 years old and a rookie, he's been the vocal leader on the court. So he does it all. I think he probably plays 30 to 32 minutes tonight.
Oh, really? You think his minutes?
Yeah, I think so. I think, like, we saw it in the first quarter last game. Like, Gafford made 2 quick mistakes, and then, like,
he got pulled.
Kid just kind of pulled a rope underneath him, and he put in Lively right away. That could easily happen again.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm gonna put up the. So right now I've got. This is the last 20. I was hoping to put just put away games up for Lively. So this is last 20 away games. In fact, let me just put it at last 10, because that way you can kind of see more just all the playoff games. So these are the 10 playoff games at home. This is on the road, rather. Still actually pretty good if you look at the boards, right? Like, it's just a high number now at 8.5. So you didn't go over on this, did you, PB, for Lively and anything?
I did, yeah. Remember towards the end of the show on game 3?
No, but for this next game you haven't.
I do. I actually, right before I came on the show, I gave out quarter 1 rebounds.
Okay.
It was a little juicy. The whole day I was like, I don't know if I want to play it. It's minus 150. Like, but sometimes, like, you just kind of have to just drink the juice, and there was really no reason to fade it.
Yeah, I mean, that.
Like, look at the hit rate on that.
Yeah, this is a nice
4,
hit rate.
2, 6. Like, I get that it's. I try not to do anything more than minus 130, but I mean, that is
even at minus 140. I mean, this was a great find a couple games ago, right, when we were doing the stream.
Yeah, this was minus 130, I think. It's only gone up 18 cents, I think. But I mean,
yeah, and the look here is like he comes in at like within 4 to 5 minutes of that first quarter, he's in the game, and at that point, now the thing here is, like, he might not be playing against anybody good, but I kind of think Al Horford sticks around in this game for like a really good.
Yeah, they may have to play him a little bit more minutes. I think so too.
So that is one of my plays that's scrolling on the bottom line there is Al Horford over 2.5 first quarter points, which is not negatively correlated to Lively at all. But I do think we're looking at least 8 minutes in this quarter for Al Horford. It could play up to 10, to be honest, because I don't think you want to have to bring Xavier Tillman in that early. And, like, if anybody's not made for this series, it's Luke Cornett. Just for the love of Christ, not get on the floor. He's just going to be barbecue chicken for Luka, right?
You don't like those contests?
Dude, that man walks
straight
onto the floor. He walks on the floor with his hands in the air, ready to go, hands up at all times for Luke Cordet. It's hilarious. But nah, I just, that would be why I think Horford's good for that stuff. But anything on the centers there, Modi? Did you look at any stuff for either Gafford or Lively?
I would actually be on your side, Josh, with Lively and Gafford, because like.
Oh, you think Gafford plays a little bit more minutes?
Well, I just think that it's jumped the shark a little bit too much on Derrick Lively. Like he has been great. He's 100% been great, but it's a rookie playing in the NBA Finals, and he got in foul trouble in Game 2, and then his minutes were kind of cut.
Happen for sure.
Yeah, so I like the first quarter because you don't have to worry about foul trouble. He picks up 2 quick fouls in the first quarter. It's not gonna he's still gonna play his normal first quarter minutes. So I do like that first quarter prop. If I was looking at the whole game, I would take his under. Because like I said, I just think that it's jumped the shark a little bit too much. Like Gafford was they literally I know they lost, so maybe it's not an argument, but they fed Gafford in the post against Tatum. They're like, if you're going to put Tatum on Gafford, we're just going to post him up. And he was scoring. And then games 3 and 4, it turned around to Lively. I just think that I kind of agree with Josh's sentiment that it's the hot hand. It's riding the hot hand. Lively's been hot for 2 games. That doesn't necessarily mean that's going to continue for a third game, especially in a rookie. Are we just expecting a rookie to continue to play well 3 games in a row in the finals? It kind of goes with my fade of recent results mentality type thing. But I do like that first quarter look because you're immune to blowouts. You're immune to if he doesn't play well, he could still pick up 2 rebounds, and then that wouldn't matter for the rest of the game. So yeah those are my thoughts.
I actually have a pretty strategic way of playing Daniel Gafford. I think this is more of a live angle. If you've noticed the last 3 games, a lot, and I don't know if you can see this in the dashboard, but if you look at StatMuse, a lot of his production comes in the third quarter. Gafford noticeably comes in the third quarter. I'm looking at the last 3 first quarters for points wise for Gafford, 0, 2, and 0. But then the third quarter, it's 6, 2, 4, and 4.
Yeah.
So what you could maybe do is maybe try to in the halftime try to take the over on Gafford's PR or his points or something. But yeah, just look. I think it's really interesting. They try to set the tone, the Mavericks, and attack the mismatches whenever Jrue Holiday or Jaylen Brown is somehow tagged on Gafford down low. You know?
Yeah, I do. Now the risky part about playing Gafford and not Lively, if you look at their rotation too, is that Gafford does start the first quarter, starts the third quarter. If he plays well, especially in the third quarter, that would be where he's probably going to keep his minutes and then Lively, right? So there is something to playing him live. I just think at 4.5 boards, this is about to be a play for me. I can tell you that right now because I'm looking at 4.5 boards going plus 126. And honestly, if you wanted to take over 3.5 at minus 150.
What do you think though that Josh? Do you think though that he's going to be with him matching a lot with Al Horford? It's going to be stretching him from the paint. That's with Lively. That you can't really say that too much with Lively because he'll get minutes without Horford on the court.
True. Yeah. Let me look at these matchups here for Gafford. Even though he only played 9 minutes last game, if we put him on defense in the matchups for a minute, look at this. We got AJ Lawson getting minutes in this last game. Hilarious.
AJ Lawson.
Let's see.
Ty Lawson.
Yeah, exactly. Is he related to Ty? Yeah, he is doing most of the guarding of the center that he's up against, which is going to be Al Horford, to your point. And I'm not worried about his defense necessarily, but I also think maybe then at that point, under blocks for our guy kind of comes into play, to be honest, for Gafford, more than the rebounds. I still think he's probably good for the boards. But if this is, it's a half a block now. So it's not there. If this was 1.5 with an under, I'd still love that for him. It's not around.
Oh, what is it? It's minus.
It's a half a block and
it's
the under is
plus
1.3.
That was plus 190 on game 2.
Yeah.
It's slowly getting more.
But when you've got Al Horford out there, you're not getting blocks. That man was blocked the least of anybody who actually plays minutes.
Because he only shoots if he's got 6 feet of space. If any contest at all, he's not shooting. Yeah,
and that's especially from outside. He's not shooting down low. He's not going in and pulling some sky hooks on Daniel Gafford or anything like that. So I don't think we got to worry about that. Maybe Gafford under half.
They didn't really drive too much last game. The Celtics. Only one of his blocks came from Tatum when he blocked him with a 3-point line. That was kind of rare,
Right, that's right. And then Tatum fouled him. That was the only one. So, I still think he's going to be good for about 20 minutes in this game. That's kind of where I'm projecting Gafford. So I don't have the stones to take an under 1 block for a dude who's trying to block a lot. His block attempts, which is a stat you can look at, is very, very high. So yeah, I'm not with that, unfortunately, in this one, but I think I am just going to put the over 4.5 boards for a half a unit here because of the plus money. I cannot get away from that. I think this is a much better game for him. I would be willing to ladder his stuff up to 6. I'm not going to lie. I think I might do that while we're talking about other stuff real quick, and then I'll make that clear. But I want to look at a couple other things for Gafford and then maybe get into it. But no bets right now for Drew and I know you've got D White, but we're good to move on from those two guys. Is that right?
I would agree with you on Drew Holiday's under. It didn't make a play or even a lean for me, but I also feel like a lot of the props for Drew is coming from the Pacers series when they would just put like their smallest defender on him, and then he would just take him in the basket, which like he's still getting some love from that, which is just a totally different series.
Also, too, as well,
right?
Like to go on that, in the beginning of the series, a lot of his points are coming in action when he's trying to put Luka in action, but Luka noticeably made a huge effort in playing defense last game. I hope that continues going into game 5 and 6 if that's the case,
Yeah, I do. That makes total sense. And yeah, I mean, this is kind of what we were looking at here, Moda, you're talking about now. He went off in game 2 for sure, but that would be the outlier for sure.
Yeah, and that was a lot of transition points he had and everything, like fast break.
Crazy. This was his 9 for 9 in the paint game too, which was absolutely wild.
Yeah.
And you think the rebounds are a little bit bloated. Do you not, PB? Was that what you were saying?
What is it? Was it 6.5?
It's 5.5 still, but like it's kind of fluctuated actually between 5 and 6.
Yeah, I think the best look. I think we all are in alignment here. The under 13.5 points.
Yeah, that would be the preferred play. I agree with that, and that has a way lower hit rate for sure. Other than the Indiana Pacers, obviously, who are just atrocious on defense. So I don't know what you want to do with that. But even against like Miami and Cleveland, started to pick it up a little bit. But I would also say this was Derrick White's 3 worst games right in here where he did really well. And I do think these dudes are so like inversely correlated when it comes to scoring that like if I'm projecting a pretty good game for D White, it would terrify me to take a good game for Drew Holiday, and I would definitely lean towards the under. So let's get into to J. We talked about JB already. Actually, do you have anything for Jaylen Brown, PB, that you were looking at? Because we were both like, I'm staying away from Jaylen in general. If I did anything, I would go over on the points. I'm done with the assists with him, to be honest, for right now. But that's about it.
I was looking at the under on his points. I thought last game was a little bit. All series he's been like so efficient when he's been driving to the rim. Like you should see his field goal percentage when he's at the rim. Last game he was like 1 for 6. I think there's been some answers and defensive adjustments being made. I think the Celtics aren't over helping a lot, and they're playing a lot more switch and allowing Lively to be a little bit more of a roamer and kind of make his shots uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like look at the shot chart there.
Yeah, wildly inefficient down low in this game. Kind of seemed like he was
just goes with Lively playing more minutes. Game 1 and game 2, Lively played like 18, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Last 2 games he's now playing. He would have probably played 30 minutes. So
yeah.
Also, like if Lively gets in foul trouble, that would obviously hurt it. But I kind of lean the under, but it's just a lean. I mean, I'm not really taking anything with Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, I feel that, and I can't reasonably take an under on Lively just yet because I also think there's something to the idea that without KP, it's going to be much more effective. Those KP
that's what I'm saying.
For sure. Yeah, and JB was going at him in game 1. That worked out. Hasn't really been nearly as much like you said. So far there. I'm going to check a couple of things here in the comments, make sure I'm not missing anything. But PB, did you have one more that you want to share before I keep going through what we've got in the upcoming stuff?
So I share that I took Lively's the first quarter. I took Hauser's under rebounds. And then the third prop I have is Exum. Did we talk about that yet?
Not yet, but he's next on the upcoming.
We'll talk about that. So I guess we'll save that when we talk about Exum.
No, he's up next. Yeah, he was already up next. So because I want to talk about him in the same breath as like Jaden Hardy and even Derrick Jones Jr.
Sure.
So yeah, you're an Exum guy right now, right? Which I have him in there too as PR.
Yeah, I was talking about it. I was like, kid has to play him, and he finally played him 13 minutes. I think that stays. He addresses 3 main weaknesses for the Mavericks that they didn't have when he's not on the court. First weakness is spacing, right? Derrick Jones Jr. is not a reliable 3-point shooter.
No.
So when he's in the game, the Celtics are able to overhelp on and kind of like not worry about him because he's not a threat to shoot. And it's affecting the spacing on offense. Luka and Kyrie aren't able to have enough space to drive. So when you put a guy like Exum, who's a little bit more respectable as a 3-point shooter, it's been helping. Also with Exum too, that Derrick Jones Jr. doesn't have his ability to play make and bring the ball down. A lot of the times in the second quarter, you saw Dante Exum kind of just like taking the bringing the ball down the reps, or bringing the ball down the court reps away from Kyrie and Luka, just to kind of conserve their energy, let Luka and Kyrie get to their spots off ball, then pass the ball to him. That's been helping. And then the third thing is it's been helping with the pace. Like I told you, I think one of the keys for the Dallas Mavericks to win is if they speed up the pace and they make it where the Celtics are not ready to like get to their set formation. So all in all, I think Exum is safe for, I'd say 12 to 16 minutes tonight. And then you look at the hit rate when he plays that with PJ Washington. I took the over 1.5 rebounds and assists. That's actually a 100% hit rate this season when he plays those minutes. So I got it at -125. Now it's like -180. So
yeah. And that was for the RA, right?
Yeah, but I also like the PRA too. I mean, he's not just been a spot up shooter. He's also been he's kind of been using that downhill drive with kind of like that gravity that defenders are kind of putting a little bit more attention on Luka and Kyrie, and then Exum kind of gets that wide open type of look, you know?
Yeah. I concur. I just like, look, I'm saying earlier, like, I don't have the ability to project kids' rotations very well because I don't think Kid has the ability to project his rotations very well. But like, how do you sit Dante Exum when he's clearly been head and shoulders above the dudes that you would have in there that you also mentioned, right? So no, and Cody's asking about the PRA. Like, no, I'm good with it. I took the PR. I don't know that I love the idea of him having to get assists against a team that doesn't.
The assist kind of makes sense. Like, I think what's going to happen is he's going to play the backup point guard minutes. If Kyrie's not going to play 48 minutes, right? Like, he's going to have to come off the court. Normally, Jaden Hardy has been playing those minutes, but I don't think he's playable, especially in an elimination game. Right. So I think it's been Exum who's now kind of taken over that role, and that's where the assist upside could come in those 2 to 3 minutes.
That's fair. Yeah, where he's not on the floor with Luka, essentially. Or where he is being on the floor with Kyrie, rather. Yeah. I can understand.
I'm wondering what Modai thinks of it, of the Exum look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, he's a lot more dynamic off the bounce, off the dribble than Derrick Jones Jr., which just, it's amazing how much just being able to attack a closeout is incredibly valuable for an offense, which Derrick Jones Jr. can just dribble straight and dunk. But if he has to do anything in traffic, you don't want him to do that. Jaden Hardy, they're like begging him to put the ball on the ground. They're like, please dribble, because it's easy pickings for two of the best guard defenders in Jrue Holiday and Derrick White. I would probably lean towards the PRA, but like any way you want to play it, any way you slice it, I'm good with, because I think the assist could be just, like I said, attacking closeout, simple dump off to whoever the center is if someone rotates to him. If not, like, he's scoring. And his defense is valuable. Like, Derrick Jones Jr. somehow became the SGA stopper, somehow became the Anthony Edwards stopper. But like prior to that, was not known for being a good defender, where Dante Exum was. So you probably trust him more defensively. So yeah, I like it. Yeah. I would not talk anybody out of that.
Yeah. That's going to be the key here for Exum, is the minutes, right? At the end of the day. And what I like about his minutes moving forward too, that we took away from game 4, 13 minutes, 13:37. He played 8.5 minutes in the first half, and then did not play in garbage time. So like, that could easily
was going to come in like 2 minutes earlier in the third quarter, yet he was on the sideline waiting for a stoppage of play, but they just kept playing for 2 minutes. Yeah. So he really should have seen 15 minutes.
That's right. Yeah. They were
and he had a 3-pointer called back because he
stepped on the line. 100%. That was a turnover for him. I'm looking at everybody's favorite here, Popcorn Machine, to see what his rotations were in this last game. He didn't get on the floor in the first quarter. I mean, maybe he still doesn't because of Josh Green coming in and getting those minutes. But then he played the whole beginning of the second quarter, and that was Kyrie and Luka were actually in at one point, and they still had him in there. So I think he was definitely just taking Josh Green's minutes at that point, because Kyrie came back in for Josh Green, which normally feels like he might have come back in for Dante Exum. So just looking at the rotations and when he's in and when he's staying in, really, really like Exum to get the 12 to 15 minutes in this game as well. And if you project him at that, PB already told you what that means. It's like 100% hit rate when he gets that amount of time in this postseason. So I think that's another great look. To be honest, I'm still with you on the Exum stuff. And if you guys are asking about PRA, RA, whatever, I prefer the PR. I think you said RA, right? Prop
I took the rebounds and assists at 1.5.
And it was
gone. Yeah, I
would have just completely tailed you on that one in general, except for it was also gone. And so I just went to the PR because I do think like him to get 2 points is found money. I also would have loved just the rebounds, but all we could get was half of a rebound for like minus 200. And I was like, well, I guess you got to add stuff to this. They're not really giving us alts or anything like that for him. But that kind of brings me to DJJ, who Modi was just talking about a second ago.
Yeah.
This is going to be the cause of a bit of controversy, I can tell, because some people, what they're liking about Derrick Jones Jr. at this point is just the fact that this thing dropped to 2.5 on the rebounds and a couple other bets as well. Let me pull him up real quick, DJJ. And did you take a look at him, Modi, or what's your thoughts right now on that kind of rotation with Derrick Jones?
I mean, it's correlated to liking Exum. So I mean, like his PRA is at 9.5. That's so low. Because he still is going to start. And if the Celtics, I mean, they will take a bunch of jump shots. And if they miss them, that just gives a ton of rebound opportunities for Derrick Jones Jr. I would stay away, especially because I do like the Exum over. But like if he comes in, bricks 2 3-pointers in a row, maybe he just doesn't get minutes. I don't think that's going to be the case. But you never know with these veteran coaches, especially in an elimination game. They're just going to try anything. So I would stay away from Derrick Jones Jr. Gun to my head, I would probably lean his under. I'll probably just stick to points, which is at 5.5. But I mean, that wouldn't go anywhere near an official play. Maybe his first quarter rebounds over for similar logic to Lively, or like he's gonna at least start. And if the Celtics come out and miss 6 jumpers in a row, maybe he's able to get. I don't know. I just kind of spitballed that. I haven't actually looked to see if that market's offered and what it's priced at. Looks like so first quarter rebounds is priced at 0.5,
right?
For minus 105. I have no idea what the hit rate is. That I literally just pulled that out of a hat. But
the first quarter rebounds for
isn't that it? That's the thing. We could.
Oh yeah,
I can kind of go off that. Like, the first quarter points is really like fishy, right? Like it's only 0.5 points,
right?
And he gets most of his run in the first quarter,
right?
Like
so is the rebounds. If it's
it's at 0.5. And it's like if there's ever a team for him to get a bunch of rebounds, it's against the Celtics, because again, against it's all about the jump shots. So I mean, that's probably honestly, I think that's a pretty good play. I think it's too risky to
stay away. I get that. I mean, that's how I would play him too, is first quarter. I'm really getting tempted by these first quarter numbers, but I had about 13 bets that I ended up putting down last game. I know it was 12 because I couldn't get one down that I wanted to in the stream. And then when I get off the stream, I go put my plays in, and that one actually wasn't there anymore. But I had so many, and I actually still made like 1.4 units, so I'm really not complaining or saying that it was like stupid as hell. But I went pretty crazy, and I've got plenty of WNBA to bet on, so I don't need to just start dropping units on random crap. All that said,
there goes Josh.
All that said is what?
All that said.
That was like that was a really good stop. All that said,
let me dip out. This is the kind of day that I've been having. Welcome to my life today. Anyway.
Internet problems. There's nothing worse.
In here?
Just the best. It's just the best. All right, quick question while we're talking about random ass dudes on the Dallas Mavericks. We don't have any THJ props, and my Discord was popping off with the idea that we go back to THJ.
I think that was fool's gold. Yeah, I think that was fool's gold last game. That was more so of like an audition for like if he's going to get role playing time. I think what the strategy is for Hardaway Jr. is more of just like, let's just play him. If they go down a lot of points, they may have to kind of break the glass here. Let's just put him in for like 3 to 5 minutes. Let's say he makes like 2 of the shots. Maybe he gets more extended run, but like if he's in there, they give him the ball and he misses, they're just going to can him, and like they're just not going to play him anymore. So that's why I don't think they're going to give out his lines. I think it was agreed.
What are your thoughts there,
the books aren't even offering Tim Hardaway Jr. THJ
for a reason.
I think Hardaway Jr. and both Hardaway and Hardaway Jr. are both out of the rotation.
Yes, 100%. And Daft, he DM'd me a minute ago a play that he has for Exum, which I still think is a good look. And if you can do this on any of the books now, he's playing these Aussie books, but I think he actually got it on 365 as well, instead of like, the Kangaroo Sportsbook or whatever it's called out there. All love, no offense. Let me make sure I don't mess this up real quick. It was Exum 5+ points, Exum over 1.5 boards, and that got you to a plus 650, which is a pretty good number.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
But you got to take the alt 5 points. I mean, honestly, if you did over 1.5 rebounds with like his core, 2.5 points for Exum, probably still get some pretty good juice on that. I think that's the play. But we're all three in agreement that like if you're playing overs on anybody that's not named Luka or Kyrie right now as like a guard or anybody back there, then we're talking about like Dante Exum. And if you like Derrick Jones Jr., great, but I'm off of that right now, to be honest. So, all right, let's with Derrick Jones. I just have leans on that, and it is a little bit risky for him. So I'll move past that for 1 second. Let me talk about the next guy I wanted to bring up real quick. Hold on, not Kyrie, even though that's what I have written here. There was one other person. Let me make sure I'm not missing this. Oh yeah, let's get to some Celtics. Unless you have something you specifically want to.
Well, yeah, I'm just going to keep talking about Derrick Jones Jr.
Okay, great.
It goes in hand with Exum playing more. And also goes in hand with Josh Green playing more. Like 3 of those guys have to take over that shooting guard, small forward like rotation.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think Derrick Jones Jr. plays more than 23 minutes tonight. I think he plays between 20 to 22. That's kind of where I have him at.
But if you put him at that, let's look at that real quick. Because if you put him at 20 to 22 minutes, here's what I found earlier. In fact, I was texting it to somebody. So let me just pull it up because I already have the number here, and then I'll show you what I mean. But it was really easy to find this, which was. So here's how DJJ goes. In the 3 games in the playoffs where he's had 20 minutes or less, 2 of those were against Boston.
I think he plays 20 at least. I don't know.
Okay, so then let me be more clear. If you extrapolate the full season and you filter his minutes 20 to 25, which seems reasonable, right?
That's kind of fair, yeah.
He averages 3.3 boards in those 23 minutes and about 5.6 points. He's gone over in 13 of 19 games, averaging about 23 per game when you filter it to 20 to 25 minutes for Derrick Jones Jr. So
what happens if you do the games that he doesn't make 2 3-pointers?
That's a really good call. Let's pull up our boy real quick and talk about. I can't get Pips back on the show for some reason. I guess it's because it's like.
I don't think he doesn't want to do finals anymore. I think it's just
really he's over it.
He's just over it.
The interesting thing for Derrick Jones Jr. is like he's had 3 games where I think it's like the 24-minute is like the magic kind of like number. If he gets less than 24 minutes, the under is the play here.
Interesting. So you kind of think he needs at least 25? I
think he needs 24, yeah. Like, check
at least 24. Got it. Right. So if he goes under 24, he goes under. So this is his points right now, 5.5 the whole season, including the playoffs, playing between 20 and 25 minutes. This is a pretty nice hit rate, 14 of 20. This is just the points, averaging 7 points. If we put the PR in there, and then you want to look at this with the threes filtered as well.
Yeah, just do 1 3-pointer made, and then
one or less.
Yeah, and then so you'll see the hit rate there, and then now do it from 20 to 23 minutes. It's interesting.
Damn, yeah, goes down to 2 for 7. Wow, yeah.
This is what PR.
Yeah, this is points.
Yeah. I mean, this is a bet essentially. Do you think he plays more than 24 minutes? Like, if he does, then that means that Exum can't play. It's like a whole puzzle.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts, but I think I think it's an Exum Derrick Jones Jr. game. I think those are the 2 guys that get minutes in that spot for this Mavs squad. So
do you think Josh Green also gets minutes too? Or
there you go. So then who's out? It's Josh Green.
Yeah, honestly, I think of the 3 players, I mean, Derrick Jones, I think, has the shortest leash, especially if he's missing his shots early.
Yeah, it's a fair
Exum can play defense. Exum can bring the ball up. Exum can push transition. Derrick Jones Jr. can do that as well, but he can't play. He can't bring the ball up. Derrick Jones Jr. He can't be so dependable with it.
What's been his first quarter numbers? So obviously going over this half a point, but like this is last 10 that I'm on right now. Let me go last 20 real quick. I'm trying to see the minutes more than anything for him. So they have dwindled.
I told you the second quarter seems to be where he gets the fewest minutes. It's the first quarter and the third quarter where like all of it, where most of his minutes will come from. Yeah.
Yeah, so in these games right here, basically the last 5, we've definitely seen his minutes in the first quarter drop. He played, I think did he hit a shot in the first quarter? Yeah, he hit 1 shot in the first quarter of last game. It was that nice wraparound layup over Jason Tatum going to the basket, which was like
high degree
kind of an anomaly, to be honest, to watch Derrick Jones Jr. dribble into the paint like that and do so well. But all right, yeah, I mean, I think for DJJ, like I kind of agree with Modai. At the end of the day, it's the first quarter stuff. So because I don't think you can trust his minutes moving past that. And I keep forgetting Josh Green, who has played really well, honestly, at when he's in there, outside of just scoring. Like he's hit a couple of shots, but he has been really good on defense, really good in transition for them as well. Yeah. Much better ball handler than Derrick Jones Jr. So
that's what you need, though. You know, you need that. So this, especially in the third and fourth quarter, just to like not pressure Luka and Kyrie with all, because they're going to be putting so much energy, and they're going to need someone to kind of like carry that load a little bit.
Agreed. Yeah. Or you look like you're about to say something there, Modai.
I was just agreeing. Like being able to turns out dribbling is a pretty important skill in basketball.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wild times. I know. Yeah. Don't tell that to Derrick Jones Jr. Or I'm sorry, to Jaylen Brown rather.
Left hand.
The 3 as well for Exum, I think, is in play. I mean, he's been
plus 150.
Really nice. That's the thing. For making 1, it's plus 150. I think it's pretty good odds. Once again, for Exum, it comes down to the projection of minutes, period, end of story. And if you think that he's at 10 to 15, which I do, I think 12 to 15 feels right. I think he can easily get to 15. The way that he was playing last game was a part of those key minutes. Like he was a part of the run. He wasn't in there because the run had already happened. He was in there as a part of that big run for them. So I keep liking that for him. Let's talk about someone who is more of a star for a minute. Jason Tatum is kind of where I want to go before Kyrie, because I do have an under for Kyrie in here, and I'll ask you about that in a minute. But Tate, Moda, you want to do the honors of leading us off on the ever polarizing Jason Tatum?
Yeah, this is probably going to not definitely be a toxic conversation people have at all. If I was going to play Jason Tatum, I'll play his rebounds plus assists. Okay. It's been down the last 2 games. But if you look at everything prior to that, it's skyrocketing. It's at 15.5. So the books haven't really adjusted to the fact that he's gone over the past 2 games. You could also just do rebounds and just basically say like the Mavericks aren't going to shoot as well as they did in game 2. And if like that directly correlates to rebounds. For whatever reason, he just tends to play, make, and rebound more at home and score more on the road. I try to not look a ton into home road splits because a lot of it is it could just be random. Like he just happened to play better. He's happened to go on a hot streak, whatever, on the road. Sometimes it makes sense for people. Sometimes it doesn't. I try not to put too much again on home road splits, but he's been missed in 2 straight games. He's cashed in 7 of his last 10, so 7 of 8 heading into that. One game he went over was just one of the Pacers games. I think it was game 2 where that game kind of turned into a blowout pretty quickly. And if you're betting on regression from shooting from the Mavericks, the rebounds make sense. And if you think that the Mavericks defense isn't quite going to be able to contain drives as well as they did in game 4, then the assists make sense. Now for Propo, I'm thinking that Derek Lively had something to do with the fact that they're not as aggressive sending help because they trust him to protect the paint. Then maybe it would just be rebounds and you leave out the assists. But the under PRA, I think, makes complete sense. If you wanted to take an over for Tatum, it would either be rebounds and assists or just rebounds.
Just rebounds. Interesting. What about you, PB? Where are you at with?
Yeah, I like the under PRA probably from the best angle I think to attack Tatum.
Yeah,
I don't think he's hit that line yet this series, right?
Nope, sure hasn't. Yeah,
even when he scored 30 points, still an under.
Yeah, 43.5.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean they're taking away the drives from him, which has been his upside, noticeably the last 2 games.
Yep.
And he just needs to really, at the end of the day, just knock down his pull-up shots. And I'd assume that there was an interview. Actually, there was interviews from Derek Lively saying they asked him what would you rather take away, Jaylen Brown's driving or Jason Tatum's 3-point shooting, and he actually said he wants to take away the Jason Tatum 3-point shooting. So that's kind of interesting. Shows me kind of what the mindset is going into.
Did you say the 2-point or 3-point?
3-point.
Yeah, 3-point. Yeah. And I don't think he can get there without hitting a bunch of threes. I have not liked his shot selection. At the end of the day, I did like under on the points more than anything. But I think the rebounds actually, just to kind of disagree with you for one sec, Moda, on the boards. The reason that I'm scared of the boards and like adding it to the under for a PRA instead of just PA or whatever is because the switching that's getting done onto Luka. That's a big part of it.
They're targeting him for a switch for Luka. Yeah, I get that.
That's what it is. And so whenever somebody is, other than Ant Edwards, who like took on the Luka assignment and then still got his rebounds because he just ran himself into the ground, and then in game five just had nothing and they got smoked right in that Minnesota series. But if you look at, I'm on defense, I'm putting Tatum on defense for a minute. He's had a lot more Luka minutes as his the dude he was guarding. I guess in this game it didn't show up because this game was already over and Luka was just taking everybody else to the hole. But in game 3 and in game 2, there was a lot more Jason Tatum on Luka. And then also, like, even in this game, like him playing Derrick Lively makes sense, but then he got switched on to Kyrie a bunch as well. So when you're guarding those two dudes and you're guarding the most likely the person who is shooting the ball for the Mavericks between one of those two Kyruka, if you will, just between one of Kyruka, then like you're a lot less likely to get those boards. If I go back to Tatum real quick, I want to see if I'm talking out of my ass here in game 2. So in game 2, the rebound chances, or I'm sorry, game 4, 10 rebound chances in the last 2, 12 in game 2 when he was guarding Luka as well. First 2 games didn't really get any Luka matchup, and so 18 chances. I'm sorry, 15 and 12. I'm looking at the wrong series. So 15 and 12, and then it goes down to 10 and 10. So I'm just a little bit nervous that there's actual legit correlation there. Plus, what's crazy, and I don't know if you actually buy into this at all, Jason Tatum has more rebounds per game when Kristaps Porzingis plays. It's kind of wild. Yeah. What would be the logic there that you would use, PB?
Get back to me in like a minute. Let me try to think about that. Yeah.
I'm just going to put up this on StatMetric Quiz. Let's just do this season in general, because I know that's one. So 1.3 more rebounds with KP in a pretty decent sample size. 52 with him, 22 without him. So like, I don't know, man. I really don't know what that's about, to be honest. But it seems like if maybe KP is boxing out and now he has to be the one to box out rather than go get the board, that could be a part of it. I think there's something there, though. So, well, we can come back on that. I think we're kind of all in agreement, other than, if you like the rebounds and assists for Tatum, I don't hate it, but I prefer to go under with him. I'm also, like, if I'm being honest, kind of hedging against a blowout at times. And maybe that's not the smartest way to gamble. But, like, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
You do or don't think there's going to be a blowout?
I think it could be. I am scared.
Okay.
And that's
well, that's the thing. This is because it's an elimination game, and if Boston is blowing out, Boston will only, I think, how it's going to work, just like with the previous series, they're only going to take out their guys once Dallas takes out their guys.
Yeah.
So it could be like the starters are playing till like the 3-minute mark of the fourth quarter, even if they're up 20 points.
Yeah. That's fair. They're not going to come out until this thing is completely in hand. I would agree with that. So they could still get that kind of stuff. Let's let me ask you about before we get into some other stuff for the Celtics, Kyrie and PJ Washington. Modi, did you want to talk about either one of those dudes?
I didn't have a play on either of them. I'm with you on the Kyrie under points, rebounds, assists. If you really just think that he can't play in Boston for that, maybe it's one of those road splits that there is something to that because he's just in his head too much and he's trying to force it. I would probably personally lean towards his under rebounds plus assists, which I was able to get. Or last I checked, it was at 8.5. Some books have it at 7.5.
I like that. Yeah.
Did you say under?
Under rebounds and assists. Yeah.
Okay.
He's not. Sorry. Comments are very distracting. He's not passing at all. Nobody on the Mavericks are getting assists. And then the Kyrie's not maybe he got 3 rebounds, I think, in game 1. And I admittedly didn't look to back these stats up. But Kyrie's just not someone that's going to get a bunch of rebounds. So yeah, he had 10 in game 4. Game 1, 5, game 2, 8, game 3, 5. He's just not going to get a ton of rebound, like a rebound plus even opportunities. So that's where I would lean with Kyrie, just not even bother with the points, kind of similar to my logic with Luka. But it didn't even make a lean for me, to be fair.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I mean, this was a popular under last game, to be honest. 8.5. And no, looking at 7.5 now. But you can still get
under 8.5 is minus 138 at FanDuel. If you want to take the under 7.5, it's plus 124.
Okay. Yeah. Little bit scary, but this is a pretty nice hit rate as well. And like you were saying, he can't do it all at that point. I really don't believe so. What about you, PB? Did you take a look at Kyrie to God?
That was actually my game 4 prop, the under 8.5 rebounds and assists. Unfortunately, I learned it the hard way. You don't do those stuff when the home team is the players playing at home, because role players step up and they're more likely to hit 3-pointers than when they're on the road. That being said, I still would run it back. His assists were just too efficient. I mean, he passed to PJ Washington and Derrick Jones Jr. for threes. They went 100% on his passes from 3. Way too efficient. Yeah. I honestly think the under 4.5 assists would be the way I go here. I like the 8.5 rebounds and assists. However, it's only on one book. I would like it if it was more available at 7.5 everywhere. But the under 4.5 assists, again, like you expect some regression going in a road game. Right. I think Exum could take up the ball more, and that can kind of hurt some of his looks.
Yep.
And Luka too. Like both of them have to be aggressive.
Yep. I concur with that. I think the noise is going to bother him. I mean, these are the last 10 games for him. So he's played them 10 times since leaving Boston, right? Obviously, he had like 6 games against them on the Cavs. This is all at Boston. But I mean, 22.7. And then in this 39-point banger in the playoffs, I believe that was without KD in that one. And then this one on Christmas.
I will say this too. Like a lot of Kyrie Irving is very similar to Jaylen Brown in the sense that like he gets a lot of his points when he can drive to the rim, right?
Right.
Game 1 and game 2, it was at home. That's the whole narrative. It was away, but also Porzingis was there as a rim threat.
Fair.
So if Porzingis is out, I mean, I kind of like the over 4.5 first quarter points.
Yeah.
I think that could be like
so that's what I'm sketched out about, dude. This is what we were talking about this earlier, where Modi was like, "Yo, I like first quarter points for Jaylen Brown, right?" And I'll get to my point, but like he likes first quarter points for JB because it's 6.5, despite the fact that JB's been going under. So his galaxy brain logic, which I totally like, is like, "Yo, why is his number going down? Why is his number prop line not going down as he continues to fail to hit it?" Right, he has not hit his first quarter points in 6 games right here. Yet we still see this thing.
Last game, I thought he did that. He didn't do it.
No, he got 4 last game, despite taking 6 shots.
He used 2 of 6, yeah, and he's playing the whole first quarter too, which is even crazy.
He started playing all 12.
Yeah, it could be one of those where like it's just the volume is there, the metrics are telling you that this is a good over. It just hasn't happened yet.
That's what I think the books are telling us. Now we move to Kyrie, and it's the complete opposite, because I took his over 5.5 points last game in the first quarter for plus money, loving it. So why are the books pricing this at 4.5 when he's now gone over 3 in a row? Why
even
did
in one game in Boston, the one game he missed, he had 4. He was just like got fouled once, 1 bucket away. I didn't look at the Kyrie first quarter, but yeah, I mean, it's the exact same logic, just opposite.
So is it an under?
I mean,
terrifying, isn't it?
Irving?
It's risky business. That's risky business.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the question. Is it? Yeah.
Now, I mean, if you want to just stop using conjecture or, trying to think and put our brains in the mindset of the sports books and just look at math, like the minutes, let's say I projected.
It doesn't make sense. That's very it's very confusing,
fishy,
honestly.
Sketchy is the word I would use as well. Very sketchy. Let me see if I just do
the whole
this
Boston thing but I mean the drives have definitely been opening up his scoring upside without Porzingis. That's kind of why I think he's been getting those shots. He has to be aggressive. Derrick Jones Jr. doesn't really take too many shots. PJ Washington is just a spot up player.
Yeah.
And then Lively is just like, so 2 guys have to score really.
Yeah. So let's say that since the Minnesota series started, essentially, right, we've got 9, 5, 4, 5, 6, 5, 5, 7, 7. These are his field goal attempts. So if he's going to take 5.5 shots on average in the first quarter, isn't he likely to make 3 of those?
You know what you can do here? Check this out, Josh. Go on StatMuse. Try doing Kyrie Irving first quarter game log when attempting 5 shots, or when attempting, because he'll probably at least take 5 shots, right?
I would think.
Yeah, let's see if they have that, and then do including playoffs.
This season, including playoffs.
See if it spits out. If this works. Let's see.
Yeah, so this is working.
All right, perfect. And then filter by field goal attempts. All the way on the left. This is good. Okay, great.
Oh, okay, yeah, because it's got me over here. Okay.
And let's look at the ones from 5 5 to 6. Like, what's that hit rate on 4.5?
Yeah.
Assuming he takes 5 to 6.
So this isn't the whole season. So let's say 5 to 6 right here. Which one's the points?
Second.
Points right here. Second column over. I like the thought process here. So right here, yeah, we're talking about 13, 10, 7, 6, 5. I mean, one miss here. And then once you get down to 5, it's a little bit more dicey once again. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, yeah, 6 is the magic number. 6 is like, if you go in thinking that he takes 6 and he doesn't, you should be all right with it. Like,
yeah,
that seems to be like where he gets, where that becomes an automatic hit rate.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I took the under for him on the game. I don't have the chutzpah to go over, but I would be that's something that doesn't make any sense to me in a way that I'm not scared of, to be honest. Like, I'm not scared of the books being smarter than us and dropping that prop down to 4.5. I don't care. So honestly, like, I think it would be pretty nice if I put together a little Kyrie over first quarter points, under game points at 24.5. That would yield you some money, right? Back on your, if they let you parlay that. So that's something to consider. But that's where we're at with Kyrie. Can we talk about PJ Washington? Because I've said it once, and I'll say it again. Nobody goes under threes made the same time they go over points like this man, or vice versa. Like, you cannot correlate him hitting threes with him going over on his points. It does not work. So what the hell? Now, if I were going to take anything, I would go over on the threes again. And I took this last game I drank all the juice of minus 175 for PJ Washington, because what we've seen, I want to make sure I'm not lying to you, but what I believe we've seen, if I go into matchups from last game, there was a lot more Derrick White guarding PJ Washington and Al Horford not being the one to guard him anymore. So yeah, the dude who guarded him the most was Derrick White. This is the case for game 4 and for game 3. In games 1 and games 2, Al Horford was the one guarding PJ Washington. So what did we see from PJ? He drove into the lane instead of taking the pull-ups, because he can't shoot over Al Horford the way he can shoot over Derrick White, right? So I still like the threes, and I'm scared of the points because he's not dribbling into the lane to get easy buckets, because he can't drive on Derrick White because he'll get script. But he can't shoot over him if he's available for spot ups. So if I were going to play PJ, I would probably add him his threes, because it's down to minus 140, I believe, and I want to make sure it's still at that.
Pretty solid. Yeah. What is it? 1.5?
It's not bad,
1.5,
right?
yeah.
At 1.5 threes for him. Now the scary part is how many is he taking? But let's pull it up. So it is minus 140 is the best number. That is on MGM. You can get 145 in a couple spots as well. But I'm not scared of that necessarily. I know he had 2, but what did he play? He played 13.8. Is that all he played last game? Was 14 minutes? That can't be.
You got trouble. You got in foul trouble, yeah. And then Kleber was playing really well, and
that's true.
Like rolled with him.
Maxi got 23 minutes. That's true. But he
only hit
2. You said what?
He still hit 2.
Yeah, he still hit 2 though. He went 2 for 3, and
I'm not going to bank on 2 for 3, but
I know.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder how much of his threes. Like, let's pretend that the Thunder series never happened. How much would we be talking about? You know what I mean? Because that was their strategy, was to leave the corners open.
Yeah.
Like, at least like you said, in games 1 and 2, he was driving a little bit more, and like I remember being like impressed, like, oh, he's got like a little more off the bounce. But so yeah, I guess I personally hadn't really looked specifically into the matchups. So I kind of like his points with the same logic as like somebody has to do something.
Yeah. 11.5. Yeah. And that is where I was at too, dude, was like, I mean, the Mavericks are going to score points. Like, I don't know if they're going to score 100, to be honest, but they're going to score in the 90s at least. And if I don't like Luka and Kyrie to get their points, then who do I like for the Mavericks to score? Gotta be, somebody. That's where PJ would come into play for me.
Don't like it, yeah.
I don't like. I mean, look, Luka might get 33 points. I don't think he's getting 52 points, rebounds, and assists. So that's why I took the under for him there. And I should ask you guys. I know Modai took Luka first quarter points, so I do want to know where you're at with that, PB. But before you do Luka in any way, did you have a look at PJ Washington?
Yeah, you kind of talked about it. I was listening what you were saying about the Derrick White stuff, where like earlier on in the series they would kind of push that button, and then he would drive against Derrick White. And I think what happened was Mazzulla kind of realized this, and he took that option away, and he maybe started to put a little bit more supporting help underneath if Derrick White was on there, like maybe a little bit more and that's kind of been taken away a little bit of his driving. The paint touches haven't been as extreme as it was the first 2 games. So at this point, he's getting his points strictly from spot up shooting. Now, in the beginning of the series, we could have said not just the spot up, but the drives. But if the drives are no longer there, then I don't know if I could really back that 12.5 point or 11.5.
Even 11.5.
I think it's low. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's definitely a buy low because of the minutes last game, but I don't see any upside in this.
It's a fair point. Yeah. There's not much there for the points at 11.5 minus 125. Not terrible. In terms of the juice, it's still playable if you like it a lot, but I don't know if I like it a lot. What's going on?
No,
Damn,
I
can't get away. Every white dude with a red beard and a little bit of freckles is like, yo, I think I saw you the other day. It's like, no, dude, we all just look alike, man. And
people say I look like Denny Avdia.
That's a compliment. That's a good looking dude. I get the freaking albino Gordon Hayward is what people tell me I look like. Like
I get Grayson Allen, which is never.
Oh, I got Grayson Allen too one time.
And well, Grayson Allen can't grow facial hair, Modi, so keep the beard. You'll be fine. PB, yeah, you got to put a little mustache in there or something so you don't look like you trip people off the court. That is amazing. We should play the lookalike game. Nobody looks like PJ on here. But yeah, I mean, I would stay away. It's a stay away from me for PJ.
It's a stay away.
Yeah, it is. And honestly, I'm leaning like under more than anything. And has he continued rebounding? I know he was doing that. Yeah, then he has 2 in this last game because he played 13.5 minutes. I suppose the minutes should go back up for him, but PJ's a stay away from me as well. I got a little bit more time. Whenever you guys have to dip, it's fine. But I'm wondering if there's anything else from Marv from Home Alone. The hell is that?
We need to see you with
some
facial injuries.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, and I get Mac Miller sometimes when I put like a little low hat on.
I don't see that at all.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. No. I don't see the Marv. I don't see
the Marv. Yeah, the Marv is not there, dude. That ain't there. But
Grayson Allen is just Ted Cruz. Dude, what's up with Vivacard? Does he have anything?
We haven't had Thibs in here, dude. No, haven't had Thibs back in a little while. But unfortunately, his long ass parlay for like plus 200 with like 10 legs didn't hit. But it was kind of close. I think it was like 7 out of 10. So just scale it back a little bit. Anyway, I do not look like Marv. That's horseshit. Let's move it. Let me move into anybody else that we might have missed that is even worth speaking about. So let me just go to this list here because there's no Jaden Hardy left. Sam Hauser was a bit of a look. You were under on the rebounds. That's what it was. So we already got that. Maxi Kleber, don't nothing.
What's his line? I'm curious because I only think he saw minutes because 1, PJ was in foul trouble, and 2, he just happened to be hot.
Yep, agreed.
Oh, it's 2.5. Oh, fuck.
Well, that's RA. This is PRA 4.5.
And
the points 2.5. So basically, do you think he's going to hit a 3? Right, and it's minus 105. So get the hell out of here. He had 2 free throws and he made a 3 last game, and he got 23 minutes. So I mean, I think. Well, what do you do on the boards? Yeah, the 2 boards. No, 1 board and 1 assist. It's still an under if you're going anything, but once you get that low, 4.5 PRA, I don't know. I'm going to pass on that once again. That would be if it is a blowout, then we're going to see him actually get some stuff. So we're getting some KP available tonight. Love coming in. I appreciate you guys bringing that up.
KP is available.
I'm guessing it's the same thing as last game, right? Where it's like
gamesmanship.
I forget the terminology, but like in specific circumstances or whatever, however he phrased it. Yeah, I'm guessing it's that.
Available, yeah, it's that. Yeah, I'm not buying into that.
It's yes. So you can't use that for anything. There's like, remember, I think it was we tried to what the hell is that? We tried to spend some time looking at it last time, PB, and we were just like, there's nothing here. Like, what do we? There's still anything. Right.
You saw what Xavier Tillman said, right? Like, did you see that clip on Twitter? It's like, oh, he still kind of looks uncomfortable in practice, and then like people on Twitter were just like, why is this guy not trained in PR? Like, why is he giving up too much information?
Why do we say that?
Because X gonna give it to you, man. So no matter what, you're gonna get the info.
I see all these like funny Tillman jokes, like apparently he's 25 years old. People think he's like in his mid 30s. Like
Xavier Tillman is 25.
yeah.
He hasn't been around for that long.
40.
Yeah, he's got some Greg Oden to him.
Yeah. But you know what the good thing is of being like that? Like LeBron has looked like he was 39 since he was 15. So when he's like 50, he's still going to look 39. So it's like a pretty good
Oh,
stretch.
I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? Like once you
true.
get over the hump of what you look like, now you look good for your age. Stop with the thumbs up, Mac. Jesus. Real quick, because it was brought up, the rebounds for Papa Al. I know that was an under that you were playing.
Oh, I was just looking at that. I was hoping to see that if that available news would have maybe pushed it up or something. I don't know why.
Yeah. Haven't seen it
I
yet.
like the 7.5 to me. I always say like magic number, right? Like I said, 24 minutes magic number for Derrick Jones Jr. Like I think 7.5 is the magic number that I would feel comfortable taking the under in 7 of the 7 like games. 6.5 feels pretty fair.
Yeah, still 6.5. Yeah, that does feel about right. If you look at his rebound numbers, yeah, he hit 7 a ton. This is in the last 10 games. Let's do it.
We both think that he's going to get a little bit more. I think he has to get a little bit more run. You know.
Yeah, I do. I'm staying away from Al unders. I love the first quarter points for him. Can you get 1.5 first quarter points still? That was available on FanDuel. No, it's gone. So yeah, it's
2.5.
Yeah, for the first quarter points. But I still like that a lot. And he's gonna have to get some big minutes. I'm also, just so everybody knows, if Al Horford plays like 38 or 35 minutes or more in this game, and we do get a game 6, the minute that he has lines, I'm going under. I'll just tell you that right now. Like it's gonna take a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, 2 days of rest. It's not like 48 hours. It'll be Thursday.
True. That's true. The game's not till Thursday, so there is something to that. But it's a travel day too, so he'll have to travel. And I mean, I'm 35, and like my knees hurt when I go upstairs. So like, I'm just saying, like, there's something there. He's like 38, 39.
Did you train your whole life as an NBA player too?
No, as a backup point guard on a community college team, I did though. So keep that in mind.
That's important stuff. I mean,
one time I
actually have another play.
All right, beautiful. All right, let's do it.
What do you guys think? Did we talk about Peyton Pritchard yet?
We didn't talk about Pusha P yet. No. He's known as Pusha P on here because I've likened him to that kid in high school that like has a backpack full of drugs that he walks around with. That's kind of what Peyton Pritchard looks like to me.
Yeah, he kind of gives off that vibe.
He does, right? Look at the haircut here. That is a tight little fade up top. But where are you at with Peyton P? You think the shooting turns around?
I'm on the assist side. It's a popular play on Twitter. I liked it last game. This just comes down to me thinking that they keep it close and they don't like extend this guy's minutes because he hasn't been beneficial to them at all this series. Pritchard, he just hasn't had a shot. I like the under 1.5 assists. When he's in the game, he's used just strictly to be a corner shooter.
Yep.
I don't think there's been a lot of times where he's bringing up the ball. You know what I mean? Like even if he is, it's Jaylen Brown or Drew Holiday that does it. And to get 2 assists, like you're gonna really need to rely on extreme efficiency. And honestly, I think this guy plays like 8 to 12 minutes, 8 to 10.
Yep, I love that. I don't even think you need to add the rebounds because that's something he's actually more likely to do, to be honest. 3 dimes in this last game because he played the whole fourth quarter.
Yeah, throw away that game. That means nothing.
That came out. Those potential assists, that's a really sharp look actually, because those potential assists are low for good reason. So he needs to go 100% basically on his potentials. And yeah, if he's at that's a really good look. I might just hit that myself here in a minute, to be honest.
Okay, yeah, minus 125. I'm saying.
Love that look.
I like that. I might play it too.
Yeah, I think I might. That's a good call. Modi, why is someone calling you savage in here? Were you making fun of me in the comments?
No, because someone was like, I'm just glad that he has other shirts to wear. And I said, tomorrow I'm wearing the same. Every single time I go on Kyle's show, I will wear that shirt now. That will be a bit I carry on for the rest of my life. So
we kind of matched again today with like the purple pinkish.
Everybody's getting in on the action. Dude, Modi wore the same shirt for 2 shows in a row and will never live it down. That is so
okay. The hygiene was understandable. Okay, I showered right before going on Kyle's stream, and then I wore that. First thing in the morning, I woke up and I, in a different outfit, exercised, and then I showered, and then I just put on the same outfit from the night before. My fiance confirmed that it was reasonable, but that I deserved to get roasted. So that's kind of how we left it. What I did was fine, but when you go on the same stream and wearing the same shirt, then you deserve to get roasted, which is totally fair.
So good. All right. Well, I know that we are in the weeds now for sure. I think that's a great way to play Peyton Pritchard, and I'm going to put that. We're going to look at that a little bit more closely.
Yeah, let's dive in a little bit to it more, right? I mean,
I can't see a moment like I'm trying to think of how this doesn't how you get beat on this, and I'm really not sure how.
I guess like it would be maybe a situation as if Tatum like swings it out to him, and then he does like that extra pass to another three type of thing, or.
But like you said, he's in the corner. So he's either catching and shooting, or he's going down into the lane and trying to score from the baseline. But that's pretty much it for
it's the hockey assist from whoever drives. That's like what Prabham said. If someone drives and kicks it out to him in the corner, and then he passes, and then Pritchard, that's the risk. But yeah, I mean, like when you see that, he has 2 assists on 2 potential assists.
I don't think he brings up the ball because like he's. No. I don't think they trust him to do that.
No. They yeah, like you said, the offense is getting initiated by one of 4 people, and it's not him, for sure. And he's been.
It did happen. Now, here's the thing: in Game 3 in the second half, he came in for Drew Holiday, which he picked up a little bit more ball handling, but that also was a time period where the Mavericks made that huge comeback.
Mm-hmm.
Was when Drew Holiday was out.
Yeah. Right. And I mean, if you took Pritchard unders in the last game, then it's kind of what Brandon's saying here, which is that he's just going to play blowout minutes. And as soon as that happened, I was like, okay, because I was leaning under the PRA for him last game. But I think the assist is the look more than anything, because if he does randomly not randomly, if he's had wide open shots, to be fair, like he could have
more so willing to shoot the shot than I would say pass out of it, or else why else is he on the court?
Right. And he's a sneaky good rebounder, which is just a way of saying he's a short white guy. But like he honestly, he is still sneaky good. Real gym rat, real Wes Welker type, as we like to say. But yeah, no, that would be kind of one of the final plays that I'm going to put in here, and I'll absolutely be giving you credit for it because I did nothing to find this.
Yeah, that'd probably be my 4th one. All my props here are just like not popular players. Like I have Hauser, Pritchard, Exum, and then I also have Derrick Lively. I don't have any stars.
The Lively in the first quarter, which they're good looks though, man. I support it. The only player that we haven't even really talked about that I will just briefly bring up is Josh Green.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
If you have something for it, cool. We don't have to force it, but like I think he gets minutes. I just don't think it's reliable to bet on him in the way that he's used more than anything. That's kind of where I'm at with him. But wow, plus 678 for him to get a block. That's crazy. Any thoughts on that, PB or Moda? I don't know if you looked at Jay Green. This
blocks
is pretty
plus 678.
That's insane.
I mean, that's crazy. Just happens to block a 3-point attempt.
He's kind of. I mean, he has really good plus minus like stats.
Yeah.
When he's in the game, definitely he's one of the players that Jason Kidd trusts off the bench.
Right. Look how many times he's hit 3 points exactly, and I guess that's because he's making those 1-3s, right?
A 3-pointer, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, all these games because he's at 3.5, but if you dumb this down to 3 points, and has he gone? Oh yeah. So if he doesn't hit the 3, he doesn't go over. Right, is basically what we're saying.
Yeah, and they're taking away. I mean, all of his threes are corner threes, and they take that away from him.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with. I just think he played. How many minutes do you guys think he plays? Like 15 to 20?
Let's see here where we're at with the minutes.
I guess probably 15.
Yeah,
I guess he's played more the last 2.
He got up.
That's honestly more than I thought this series.
Same.
That's the thing. Like I'm saying, like if Exum and Josh Green are playing at least 17 minutes each, that's 34. And then where's the other 14 coming from? I don't think Derrick Jones plays that many minutes.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. The first quarter
a really strong lean of mine is the under 8.5 PR for Derrick Jones. I keep all day I've been thinking about if I want to play it or not.
I would throw in the assist even honestly because I'm still thinking about giving that out as well in terms of the under for his PRA.
Yeah, I mean, how's he going to get an assist?
Yeah, DJJ. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing that's the thing. It's like they've a lot of the times have been using PJ Washington and Derrick Jones to bring up the ball a couple of times to free up Luka and Kyrie for off-ball stuff. That's where I'm a little afraid of.
Interesting. Yeah, but it's usually him just handing the ball off to one of those two, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think he'll put them in play there. But all right, fellas. I feel pretty good about this stuff, to be honest. Like we've kind of exercised everybody here, I would say. So yeah, let's call it for now. I appreciate you guys being on, man. Well, I've been saying it a lot now, but maybe we'll do this again if we get a game 6.
Hopefully we get a game 6. I'm rooting for it.
And then I know Modi and I are going to start doing some W. I'm going to just basically make him do that. You're always welcome to jump on if you ever take a look at that stuff, PB. But we'll probably be firing off some W stuff. I know Daft will get in there as well. Our random little collection of WNBAers who are actually watching it. There's some ripe lines in there, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you. They are.
Yeah, props.man is definitely helping me out if I am gonna do that.
And I promised Pips that I wouldn't blow up his spot because I was asking him about how the hell he's getting some of this data. And now that I know, he's a fucking amazing genius and his product is amazing.
He told you why he doesn't want you to share it?
Yeah. But like, you're not going to get this type of stuff on the WNBA anywhere else where you're going to look at the play type analysis. This is stuff, at least not behind in front of a paywall. You're going to have to get behind a paywall to get this type of play type analysis.
Expected to play off the bench.
Interesting. Are you seeing that on Twitter?
Sorry, what was that?
Kristaps expected to play off bench Monday. So I guess he's going to play maybe 14, 15. That's actually not good for the Derrick Lively prop.
I'm still skeptical.
Are you?
Yeah.
Do you think he comes in the first quarter?
Oh, I hope not. I don't know.
Maybe because, OG Anunoby back in the day was.
Oh yeah, that's a good example.
Remember when he was supposed to play? Then he got was out there for 6 minutes, and they're like, "Oh, he can't move."
Tibbs. That was the worst day of my life. I really don't want to talk about that game. Damn. That's crazy. Jack says props are cooked. I don't think it's quite that bad, but interesting.
I don't know. I don't think he plays. Or maybe he'll play 10 minutes, or we can finally get his props and just fade his stuff.
Yeah, honestly, that's what I would lean.
For Kristaps, if he does get in, if we actually get props for him. Did they pull stuff, do you think, on these? Like, let me just go to DraftKings real quick. Actually, I have what do I have up? FD. They're really fast.
Drew Holiday could be a solid one. I don't know the under.
Oh, they still. Oh no, yeah, they locked the Celtics players stuff.
Oh really?
Yep.
Oh, did they?
Yep. They're gonna be putting it back up.
Damn. That wouldn't affect me that much, to be honest. It wouldn't change what I think.
I think he plays like 12 minutes off the minute. I think he just plays Tillman's minutes, right? Like.
Yeah.
And maybe just spots up. Like maybe just stand and shoot.
Yeah. I don't know how much action you can really put him in. I mean, you can still use him.
The Celtics prop. It's interesting.
And defending the rim is still a thing that they need badly. So, like, if he's just in there for defense, it still is going to be a pretty good thing. My hope is that it kind of screws up the chemistry, and then we get another Dallas win. To be honest with you, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that's a good one. A good way of looking at it.
Yeah, because like I think OG and company kind of messed stuff up. Like I was really hoping they wouldn't even get on the floor in that Knicks game.
Yeah, do you remember what I was telling you for that game? I was like, oh, they're playing them. I'm completely staying away from this game. I have no idea what's going on.
I remember that. Yeah.
He played 6 minutes and then he couldn't move. And then they're like,
yeah.
How did he clear warm-ups? That's what I want to know.
They were trying to recreate Willis Reed, man. It was like the anniversary of Willis Reed coming out with a broken leg. And I was like, they didn't really have team doctors in 1972.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Now they're saying the newest report is he won't have an official minutes limit.
What?
So it's an unofficial one.
What's going on?
That dog is barking over here. All right, he's telling me to call it, I guess, is what this dog is yelling at me about. Did we ever establish did your bets hit last time, Modi, when the dog barked?
I forget.
We got to track that.
Yeah, my biggest play hit on game 3, which was my Kyrie. Like I laddered him up to 30.
Right. He was a big Kyrie fan. I remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember what was which. We will have to start tracking that though.
Yeah, definitely. All right. I'm gonna call it so this dude shuts up over here. And we can kind of keep it moving. But I appreciate you guys being on, man. Definitely check out everything that these dudes are putting out. PB's got the Discord, obviously a great follow on Twitter. Modi, same thing, and then also has the YouTube channel putting out stuff every day as well, including the Dong Master. If you want to get those dongs and also the pitching props these days, right? You're throwing out some of those pitching props, MLB.
Yeah, those have been kind of cold. So
really?
We're putting those on ice for a little bit.
All right. We got to hold on those then, but definitely give the video a like if you can, and go ahead and subscribe to the page and all that good stuff. We'll be back. I'm gonna have a WNBA video out tonight. Everything's still free. If you do need Outlier, I will mention one more time. That's what we've been using every day on the stream. Jump in the description of the video, get the link to that, and you can get 7 free days of Outlier. I know a couple people in the Discord just got it and are loving it, so appreciate that. So best of luck tonight. Gamble responsibly if that's a thing that you can do. And until we see you next, happy betting.